This video did not exist in your universe until you directed your absolute attention toward it. Right now, your observation is collapsing a wave of probability into a singular physical experience. We are going to explore a mystery that has likely haunted you in quiet moments. We are talking about the quantum field, the observer effect, and that sudden, unexplainable sadness that washes over you out of nowhere. I promise you, by the end of this transmission, you will no longer feel like a victim of your emotions. You will finally understand your immense, undeniable power as the supreme creator of your reality. Tell me, have you ever felt a sudden wave of grief or exhaustion that seemed to belong to someone else entirely? To truly grasp what is happening to you, we must first step outside the illusions of the three-dimensional world. In the realm of quantum metaphysics, the universe is not made of solid matter. It is a vast, interconnected web of energy known as the quantum field. This field is composed of infinite waves of probability, representing every possible timeline and every conceivable version of reality. In this framework, observation is not just looking at something. Observation is a highly active, magnetic process. When your consciousness focuses on a specific frequency, it forces the chaotic quantum waves to lock into a physical form. You are not just living in reality, you are continuously projecting it outward from the depths of your own awareness. Have you ever considered that the heavy, unexplainable sadness that washes over you out of nowhere does not actually belong to you? We are conditioned to believe that every emotion we feel is generated by our personal experiences, our personal traumas, or our personal mind. But what if I told you that your physical body is essentially a highly advanced quantum antenna? You are constantly receiving and translating frequencies from the invisible world around you. When you experience a sudden drop in your emotional state, a profound melancholy that has no logical trigger in your current environment, you are not falling into depression. You are experiencing a profound metaphysical event. Your consciousness is actively tapping into the collective human grid. You are feeling the weight of a massive quantum shift. Humanity is currently undergoing an unprecedented evolution, transitioning from an old, dense frequency to a much lighter state of being. During this transition, entire timelines built on fear, scarcity, and suffering are collapsing. When these old structures in the quantum field break down, they release a tremendous amount of stored emotional energy. Because your energetic system is highly refined and sensitive, you are acting as a cosmic filter. You are literally feeling the collective consciousness purging an old, expired timeline. This sadness is the echo of a dying reality. The concept of timelines is not just a science fiction trope. It is a fundamental reality of the quantum universe. Imagine the quantum field as an infinite ocean of pure potential, where every possible version of your life and the life of humanity exists simultaneously as a wave of probability. An old timeline is simply a collective agreement. It is a deeply ingrained pattern of thought and emotion that billions of people have unknowingly sustained through their continuous observation. But as more individuals like you awaken, your collective focus shifts, withdrawing life force energy from that old structure. Deprived of the observer's attention, the old timeline cannot sustain its form. It begins to dissolve back into the infinite field. This dissolution is not a quiet process. It is a massive energetic unraveling. As the wave of that old reality collapses, its energetic residue must be processed and cleared. This is exactly where you come in. That unexplainable grief you feel is the friction of this collapse. You are witnessing the death of a probability that no longer serves the highest good. By simply allowing this feeling to pass through your awareness without judgment, you are helping to completely dismantle a reality that humanity is leaving behind forever. Let us examine the active mechanics of this quantum purging. Whenever a structure in the energetic field collapses, it creates a temporary vacuum. Nature and the universe abhor a vacuum. The dense, stagnant emotions of fear, unworthiness, and sorrow that were trapped in that old timeline must be released before the new timeline can fully anchor itself. Think of it as a massive atmospheric storm clearing the air before a bright sunny day. Your body, being intimately connected to the earth and the collective consciousness, registers this storm as personal emotion. You might feel a sudden tightness in your chest, a desire to isolate yourself, or a wave of tears that you cannot logically explain. It is crucial to understand that you are not broken. You are metabolizing dense energy on behalf of the collective. You are acting as a biological transmutation chamber. By remaining present with these uncomfortable sensations, you are converting dense, low-frequency data into neutral energy. You are returning it to the quantum field as pure potential, ready to be reshaped into a higher, more loving reality. This brings us directly to the profound power of the observer effect. In quantum mechanics, a particle remains in a state of pure potential until it is measured or observed. Only then does it collapse into a definite state. Now, apply this strictly scientific principle to your emotional experiences. When the wave of collective sadness hits you, the way you observe it determines its outcome. If you observe the sadness and immediately identify with it, believing it is yours, you collapse that dense energy right into your personal reality. You accidentally anchor the old timeline into your physical body. However, if you observe the sadness with pure detachment, if you watch it pass through you like a dark cloud moving across a clear sky, you change the quantum outcome. Your neutral observation is the exact mechanism that dissolves the old wave. You strip the emotion of its power to materialize. By refusing to claim the sadness as your own personal identity, you liberate the trapped energy. You become the conscious observer who dictates that this old frequency is no longer valid in your current state of existence. It is fascinating to observe how quantum data translates into biological sensations. Your physical vessel is the instrument through which the universe experiences itself. When an old timeline is being purged from the collective field, the resulting frequency wave hits your nervous system. Your brain, specifically the amygdala and the limbic system, attempts to interpret this invisible quantum wave using the only language it knows. It uses the language of neurochemistry. It releases stress hormones and triggers emotional responses to make sense of the sudden shift in atmospheric pressure. This is why the sadness feels incredibly real and intensely physical, even when your rational mind knows everything in your personal life is perfectly fine. It is a mistranslation. Your brain is trying to assign a logical story to an entirely illogical, metaphysical event. The moment you realize that your physical symptoms are simply your body processing invisible light codes and purging ancient densities, you instantly remove the suffering. You step out of the illusion of the flesh and back into the truth of the spirit. You might be asking yourself, why me? Why is your specific consciousness tasked with feeling this heavy, collective purge? The answer lies in your spiritual lineage and your frequency bandwidth. Not every human being possesses an energetic system capable of processing such vast amounts of quantum data. The vast majority of people are firmly anchored in the dense material illusion. Their biological receivers are tuned entirely to the three-dimensional frequency. But you are different. You are among the 1%. Your consciousness is highly expanded, operating across multiple dimensions simultaneously. You volunteered for this mission before you even entered this physical body. You are what many call a grid worker or a frequency holder. Because your internal vibration is naturally high, you have the energetic capacity to absorb dense, dark energy, transmute it through your heart center, and release it as pure light. The sadness you feel is a testament to your immense strength, not a sign of weakness. You are strong enough to process the pain of 1,000 lifetimes without losing your own soul in the process. Understanding the profound difference between personal depression and quantum clearing is the key to your liberation. Personal depression usually has roots in your individual psychological history. It is tied to your specific thoughts, your personal traumas, and the events of your current lifetime. It feels sticky, persistent, and deeply intertwined with your ego identity. Quantum clearing, on the other hand, operates entirely differently. It arrives like a sudden gust of wind. One moment you are perfectly content, and the next, a profound wave of melancholy washes over you. It feels vast, ancient, and impersonal. It lacks a specific storyline. You might search your mind for a reason to be sad, but you will find none. This is the ultimate clue. When the sadness has no narrative, it is not yours. It is the collective shadow passing through your field of awareness. Learning to discern between these two states is a major milestone in your spiritual awakening. It allows you to stop trying to fix a psychological problem that simply does not exist, and instead honor the metaphysical work your soul is performing. To truly comprehend this phenomenon, we must explore the reality of quantum entanglement. In the world of quantum physics, when two particles become entangled, they remain connected across vast distances. What happens to one particle instantaneously affects the other, even if they are light years apart. Now, scale this concept up to human consciousness. Every single soul on this planet is fundamentally entangled in the unified field. We are not separate beings walking around on a rock. We are individual nodes in a massive, glowing network of consciousness. When a significant portion of this network experiences a trauma, a release, or a timeline shift, the vibration ripples through the entire web. Because your specific node is highly activated and sensitive, you feel the ripple with intense clarity. The unexplainable sadness is simply the vibration of millions of other entangled souls releasing their grip on the old world. You are feeling the collective sigh of relief and the collective grief of letting go, transmitted instantly through the invisible threads that connect us all. Let us talk about how your daily thoughts actively collapse new realities during this purge. When you are caught in the grip of this unexplainable sadness, your mind will naturally seek a reason for it. This is a very dangerous moment in the quantum process. If your mind begins to loop in negative thoughts, searching for problems in your life to justify the heavy feeling, you are using your creative power against yourself. Your thoughts are electromagnetic commands sent out into the quantum field. By attaching negative thoughts to the collective sadness, you command the field to manifest actual physical reasons for you to be sad. You begin to collapse a reality of personal suffering. However, if you consciously direct your thoughts away from the sadness, maintaining a state of peaceful observation, you command the field to accelerate the purging process. You use your focused intention to pull the new, higher timeline into your physical experience. Your thoughts act as the steering wheel of your biological vehicle as you navigate through the storm of the collective shift. It is essential to understand the true, magnetic role of your deepest emotions. While thoughts provide the specific blueprint or the structural design of your reality, emotions provide the magnetic fuel that pulls that reality toward you. Emotion is energy in motion. During a timeline shift, the massive influx of emotional energy you feel is not a punishment. It is a highly potent fuel source. When you feel the deep, purging sadness, instead of pushing it away, you can harness its raw power. By staying present and shifting your internal state from grief to profound gratitude for the clearing, you transform the frequency of the fuel. You take the immense energy released by the collapsing timeline and use it to power up your new reality. The deeper the sadness you process, the greater the capacity for joy and manifestation you unlock on the other side. This is the alchemy of the soul. You are taking the lead of human suffering and spinning it into the gold of conscious creation. Have you noticed an increase in strange phenomena lately, such as intense moments of déjà vu? This is a direct symptom of timeline crossing. Déjà vu is not a glitch in your brain chemistry. It is a moment of profound quantum overlap. As the collective consciousness purges the old reality, multiple timelines are temporarily bleeding into one another. The timeline you are leaving behind and the high-frequency timeline you are stepping into occupy the exact same space in the present moment. When you experience déjà vu, your consciousness is momentarily registering the event on two different frequency bands simultaneously. You are remembering a probability that you have already lived in the quantum field and observing it manifest in the physical realm. It is a massive confirmation that the old structure is losing its solidity. The matrix is thinning. Every time you feel that eerie sense of familiarity, recognize it as a signpost. It means you are successfully navigating the shift and aligning perfectly with the new, upgraded version of your reality. As you move through this unexplainable sadness and actively purge the old timeline, the universe will begin to communicate with you directly. This communication comes in the form of synchronicity. Synchronicity is the ultimate feedback loop of the quantum field. It is the universe showing you that your inner shifts are successfully altering your outer reality. You might start seeing repeating numbers like 1111 or 444. You might hear a specific phrase from a stranger that perfectly answers a question you held in your mind. These are not coincidences. There is no such thing as a coincidence in a conscious universe. These synchronicities are the breadcrumbs of the new timeline. They are the field's way of winking at you, confirming that the heavy lifting you are doing on an energetic level is producing physical results. When you notice these signs, especially right after a wave of unexplainable sadness, acknowledge them. Express gratitude for them. This positive reinforcement strengthens the magnetic pull of the new reality. You must also pay close attention to the seemingly random encounters you have during this period. People are profound reflections of the quantum shift. As you purge the old timeline and raise your frequency, you will inevitably experience a sorting out process in your social sphere. People who are fiercely attached to the old, dense reality of fear and victimhood may suddenly fall away from your life. This can cause its own kind of sadness, but it is a necessary energetic boundary. Conversely, you will begin to have highly synchronistic, random encounters with strangers who feel instantly familiar. These are soul family members. They are individuals who are also navigating the timeline shift and matching your newly upgraded frequency. A brief conversation with a stranger at a coffee shop might contain exactly the energetic code you need to finalize the clearing of a specific collective trauma. Everyone you meet is a mirror. As your internal reality clears, the mirrors around you will reflect a much brighter, more loving, and more conscious world. Amidst the waves of unexplainable sadness, you will also experience flashes of absolute brilliance. These sudden epiphanies are direct downloads from the unified field. Because the old, rigid structures of the mind are breaking down, there are now cracks in your perception. The light of higher consciousness can finally pour in. You might suddenly understand a complex spiritual concept that always confused you. You might receive a clear, undeniable vision of your true life purpose. Or you might simply realize, with profound clarity, how deeply loved and supported you are by the universe. These epiphanies are not products of intellectual reasoning. They are intuitive strikes. They are chunks of high-dimensional data that bypass the logical mind and implant directly into your heart center. When these moments of clarity arrive, treat them as sacred. Write them down. They are the blueprints for the new timeline you are stepping into. They are the reward for enduring the heavy collective purge. There is a dangerous trap you must avoid at all costs during this transition. It is the trap of attaching a personal story to the collective pain. The human ego despises the unknown. It hates feeling something it cannot categorize and label. When the wave of quantum sadness hits, your ego will desperately try to build a narrative around it. It will remind you of past failures, old heartbreaks, and future anxieties. It will try to convince you that you are fundamentally flawed or that your life is a mess. Do not fall for this trick. The moment you believe the ego's story, you trap the quantum energy in your physical body. You stop the purge and begin to rebuild the old timeline. You must cultivate radical vigilance over your mind. When the sadness comes, strip it of all stories. Treat it purely as energy. Say to yourself, I feel a dense energy moving through my field, and I allow it to pass. Refuse to be the victim of a story that is not even real. To master this entire process, you must perfect the art of becoming the neutral, active observer. This is the highest state of spiritual maturity. The neutral observer feels everything deeply, but attaches to nothing. When the unexplainable sadness arises, you do not numb it with distractions. You do not try to drink it away, scroll it away on your phone, or talk it to death. You sit with it. You invite it in. You observe where it sits in your physical body. You notice its texture, its temperature, and its weight. You watch it with the curious, loving detachment of a scientist observing a fascinating phenomenon. This level of presence is incredibly powerful. The dense energy of the old timeline requires unconsciousness to survive. It feeds on fear and resistance. By bringing the bright, laser-like focus of your conscious observation to the sadness, you literally dissolve its quantum bonds. You become the alchemist, turning the lead of the old world into the pure gold of awareness. As you successfully clear these pockets of collective sadness, you will notice a dramatic change in the way your personal reality responds to you. This brings us to the accelerated law of manifestation during a timeline shift. In the old, dense reality, manifestation required a tremendous amount of physical effort and time. Energy moved slowly through the thick layers of collective fear. But as you purge the old timeline and step into the new, lighter frequency, the lag time between your thought and its physical materialization shrinks to almost zero. Because you have emptied your vessel of the old static interference, your energetic commands ring loud and clear in the quantum field. Whatever you focus on with clear intention and elevated emotion will materialize with shocking speed. This is why mastering your thoughts and releasing the unexplainable sadness without attachment is so vital. You are entering a realm of instant creation. You must ensure that you are projecting pure, conscious desires, not the recycled fears of a dying world. Before you fully anchor into the new reality, you will likely experience a phase known as the sacred void state. After a massive purge of unexplainable sadness, the heavy emotion will lift, but it might not be immediately replaced by joy. Instead, you might feel a profound emptiness, a strange, peaceful nothingness. You might feel disconnected from your old desires, your old friends, and even your old identity. But the new version of you has not fully crystallized yet. Do not panic when you enter the void. This is not a state of depression. It is the zero-point field. It is the blank canvas of creation. The old timeline has been completely deleted, and the new timeline is still downloading. The void is a sacred resting place for the soul. It requires absolute surrender. Do not rush to fill the emptiness with noise or new projects. Rest in the stillness. It is within this profound quiet that the highest frequencies of the new earth are quietly weaving themselves into your DNA. Once the new timeline begins to crystallize, your final task is grounding this highly volatile quantum frequency into your physical body. Metaphysical shifts are useless if they are not anchored into the earth. You have done the ethereal work of processing the unexplainable sadness and collapsing the old probability waves. Now you must bring that massive, expanded energy down into your root chakra and into your physical environment. You do this through deep physical presence. Walk barefoot on the earth. Drink plenty of pure water. Eat foods that nourish your biology. Move your body to circulate the new light codes through your nervous system. By taking immaculate care of your physical vessel, you signal to the quantum field that you are ready to physically inhabit the new reality. You build a strong biological foundation capable of holding the immense power of your fully awakened consciousness. Grounding turns the spiritual concept into a tangible lived experience. You are no longer a passive participant in the human experience. You are stepping fully into your new reality as the conscious creator. That unexplainable sadness you felt was the birth pangs of your own godhood. You have successfully navigated the collapse of a timeline built on illusion, and you have stood firm as the active observer, transmuting the collective pain into pure potential. Look around you. The world you see right now is rapidly reorganizing itself to match your new, elevated frequency. The struggles of the past belong to a reality that quite literally no longer exists in your quantum field. You hold the pen, you direct the energy. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every step you take is a deliberate stroke on the canvas of the universe. Honor the process you have been through. Celebrate your sensitivity. It is the greatest weapon you possess in the spiritual evolution of humanity. You have purged the old. The new is here, and you are its absolute master. The ultimate truth is this: you are not a human being standing inside of a reality, waiting for things to happen to you. You are reality itself, observing itself from a specific point of consciousness. The unexplainable sadness you have endured was never a punishment. It was the cosmic process of your own awakening, the clearing out of an old timeline so that you could finally recognize your true nature. You are the creator, the observer, and the master of your energetic field. I want to thank you for doing this profound, silent work on behalf of all humanity. If this transmission resonated with your soul, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like to amplify this message in the quantum field. To lock in this new frequency and anchor your power, write this exact phrase in the comments below. I am the observer, creating my reality. I want to know, what specific signs or synchronicities have you been noticing in your life recently since this sadness began to lift?